Today, I'm diving into a very important topic, taxes. And that's because they're getting ready to change. I'm not sure if you're aware of it or not, but in 2025, all of the tax laws will be changing. And they'll have a very large impact on your life, whether you are growing a business, trying to build wealth, or just trying to live the American dream. These tax changes will affect you, and they will especially affect your bank account. And FYI, I am not a tax advisor. I'm simply rolling out to you what the facts are, what the changes are, and you can come to your own conclusion.
That's a big 10-4.
All right, let's get into it. Right now, we're operating under the Tax Cut and Jobs Act that passed under Donald Trump, which was one of the largest tax changes, tax cuts in nearly 40 years. But here's the catch. It was set to expire in 2025. So, unless it's extended, things are going to change, which means all of the tax brackets are going to be adjusted, and they're not going to be adjusted down. They're going to be adjusted up, so everybody's going to pay more. So here's a look at your current 2024 tax bracket, and you can compare it to 2025's, and you can clearly see there's a pretty sizable increase. So individual tax brackets are set to expire in 2025. All of them will increase. The highest tax bracket we have now is 37%. It will go up to 39.6% in 2025. So as I mentioned, no matter where you fall in the income status, whether you're a low income earner or a high wage earner, your taxes will be going up. Now, besides all of those tax brackets being increased, as well as the dollar denominations, your standard deduction is going to change in a very large way. Right now, for 2024, you get a standard deduction for a single earner at $11,600. It's very generous. And previously it was very low. So you can expect in 2025, it could go back to $5,000 or $6,000. It's going to be cut in half unless this Jobs Act thing gets extended. And the only way that's going to be extended is if we have a change in administration, because the current administration has said that they are not going to extend the tax breaks. So with the standard deduction dropping, you're going to see that most people are going to have to itemize more. Maybe you didn't have $11,600 worth of itemized deductions on the personal side. Businesses are different. So it gave you a big deduction. So now you're going to have to gather up all of your stuff. If you have to pay property taxes, and maybe you have medical bills, and there's all kinds of math with that, but you'll have to itemize to get over $6,000 worth of deductions, because they're going to cut it in half. And speaking of deductions, the SALT deduction will be changing. Right now, that's SALT. If you don't know what that is, that's the state and local taxes. If you live in a state that has state income tax, and of course everybody pays property taxes, it was capped at $10,000. So while this Jobs and Tax Act, gave us lower taxes, it did limit how much you could write off on your state and local taxes. A lot of higher income earners weren't crazy about that. So that's going to go away. So you can, if you have $20,000 with the state and local income tax, you'll be able to write those off in 2025, because the $10,000 cap will be going away. Now, President Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris, they both have different stances when it comes to taxes. Trump said he would extend the Jobs Act, and Kamala says she's not going to. Either way, Right now, as it stands, it's being phased out. Also, under the current tax plan, you had a child tax credit that went from $1,000 to $2,000, so you get a $2,000 child tax credit. Kamala Harris says she's going to increase that to $6,000. Now that's on like a newborn child, and then it adjusts down to like $3,600. So there's a difference there. Okay, this is a real big one if you're a business owner. I'm a business owner. This affects me. Is the bonus depreciation. Okay, currently under the Tax and Jobs Act, small businesses can deduct 100% of an equipment purchase. So if you own a landscaping business and you want to go buy a new truck or some new lawn equipment, you can deduct all of it regardless of how much you paid for it. So that's big. That is going away. You would normally have to depreciate those purchases over years. Now you get the whole thing written off in 1 year if you choose to do so. You don't have to, but most people do. One of the biggest changes for estate tax exemptions under the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is a married couple can pass along their estate. All of their stuff, all the money you have, your houses and everything can go to your children, and your children are exempt up to $28 million. That will be cut in half. So that will be changing. Now, one of the things out of that Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, say that 10 times fast, that was permanent was C Corp taxes. They were lowered to 21%, and that is permanent. That's only C Corp. So you small business owners, like myself, our taxes are going up. If you are a big corporation, you're going to be still at the 21% unless somebody changes it. There were some teeth attached to that perk, however. You did need to manufacture your goods here and stop offshoring your employment. So in order to get that 21%, basically it was designed to get C Corps to start manufacturing their goods here, their services here, and to stop employing other nations, which is a good thing. Okay, long-term capital gains. They're currently at 20%, and Trump wants to keep it that way. Kamala Harris, she wants to increase your long-term capital gains to 28%. But here's the devil in the details, the real scary thing. While Kamala wants to increase capital gains to 28%, for most of us, if you make a little bit more money, she wants to tax your unrealized gains. That's taxing you on money you did not earn. And I have a video on that with some examples. I'll pop it at the end for you so you can check that one out. But yes, she wants to tax people on things like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate, even if you haven't sold it. So that's terrifying, but that's what she wants to do. Clearly, it would discourage people from investing in the stock market if you know you just for holding the stock, just for the privilege of having it. And if it were to increase in value, even if you don't sell it, she wants to tax it at 25%. It's big money. Now, personally, I think it's a real bad idea because it will affect you. It'll affect me because if all of these big corporations, big money earners, people that, are making substantial income, are going to be paying tax on things that they had, on money they didn't earn, they're going to figure out ways to offset those costs. It's called cutting back. They may charge more for their products and services. That'll happen. And they will probably lay off employees, offshore, more of their employees. And you and I will be bearing the brunt of that. We'll pay more for products and services. And you could potentially, lose your job. Maybe you work for Amazon, These are the type of people that are going to be paying on the unrealized capital gains. And they employ a lot of people, so that will affect all of us, including what we pay for things. All right, moving on. And as I said, Trump doesn't plan on changing the capital gains thing. He's sticking at 20%. All right, what else do we have? All right, so one of the differences between the Harris plan and the Trump plan. Now, Kamala, she wants to incentivize small startup businesses. So she's going to reward small businesses with their startup costs. Now, this isn't a tax credit. It's just the way you deduct your expenses. Currently, we're at a cap of $5,000. So if you start up a business, you can write off the first $5,000 all in that year. If you spent $10,000, the other $5,000 has to be depreciated over time. Now she wants to take it from $5,000 to $50,000. So you could, if you only spent $50,000 to start your business, essentially you could write the entire amount off. If you spend $100,000, you get half of it written off. Sounds good, but this is only for startups. This is nothing to do if you're an existing business owner. This does nothing for the millions of businesses that are out there right now. This only helps people that want to start a brand new business. By comparison, Trump, his plan, which is currently in place right now, lets all small business owners write off 20% of their income right off the top. So, for example, if you earned $200,000 in your small business, you could knock 20% off right off the top. That's $40,000. You're only paying taxes on $160,000. And all of your purchases, if you buy business equipment under Trump, regardless of how much it costs, if you spent $300,000 on business equipment, cars, let's say you have a restaurant, you want to re-outfit your entire kitchen, regardless of what that costs, you get to write 100% of that off in the same year. Whereas compared to Kamala's plan, she only wants to give $50,000 on startups. It has nothing to do with existing businesses. So Trump's plans promote less taxation on existing businesses. You get to write off 20% of your income, and you can write off 100% of investments made into the business. Another carrot that Trump is offering is obviously for service workers. No tax on tips, apparently very popular. And I certainly have no problem with that. You know, service workers work really, really hard. They don't get paid a lot of money. So not taxing them on their tips is big, and apparently so popular that Kamala decided to copy him on that. So they're a tie there. She's going to do the same, as at least she says she is. But Trump did up her. He wants to eliminate tax on overtime. So even if you're not in the service industry and you work overtime hours, he is saying he's not going to tax your overtime. So that's good. Now keep in mind, all of this has to get passed through Congress. A lot of politicians do make lots of promises in order to get your vote. So keep that in mind. And Trump has another tax policy that pulls on my heartstrings because I hate being double taxed. For retirees, he plans on getting rid of taxes on Social Security. I don't know why you're taxed on it to begin with. You already paid tax on it initially. So I think that's a big win for retirees. To eliminate your taxes on your Social Security would be a good thing. I think it would help out a lot of people. And on the contrast, Harris's proposal, she's dangling the carrot that she's going to help first-time homebuyers. This is first time, not existing homebuyers. Or if you bought a home before, this wouldn't apply to you. A $25,000 down payment assistance and a $10,000 tax credit. Now, mind you, everybody gets to pay for that in their taxes. That's why your taxes are going up, to pay for a program like that. Another thing that I would mention about that is throwing around $25,000 as a, I guess, forgivable loan. I'm not sure exactly. They haven't disclosed the details on that, by the way. It could potentially make housing prices go up further. So even though you may get that money, you may not be able to afford a home. You still got to afford the loan. You got to qualify for the loan. Lastly, circling back to corporate taxes, under Trump's plan, he's at 21%. Kamala says she's raising that to 28%. But Trump said he would shave off a little bit more and bring it down to 21%. I don't know how impactful that is, but he would. But he did dangle. He would drop it even further if a company manufactured all their goods domestically. He would drop it down to 15%. Because, that would bring jobs back. Yeah, if you're a business owner, 5%, especially if you make billions and billions of dollars, could add up to be quite a bit of tax dollars saved. And you would be creating more jobs here, which would stimulate the economy and help a lot of people earn good income. So in closing, obviously there's a different philosophy when it comes to taxes. Republicans tend to want less government, fewer taxes, and fewer regulations. Democrats tend to believe in higher taxes to fund social programs. It's personal philosophy. But the bottom line is it's going to change either way. And taxes are going up, more than likely. So we should all prepare. If you like this little summary, you got some benefits out of it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed. I would have to say more than half of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed. It doesn't cost anything, and I'd love to see you here again. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I want to thank you for being here. You gave me part of your day. We always have a good time. And I hope I see you here again. Take care. And you know the saying, stay informed, stay safe, and stay free.